Hey, everybody. On today's episode of the podcast, we have my first friend I ever made in Arizona, Josh Theodorakis, aka Theo. Josh is an interesting case because him and I kind of went through the rough parts of our early 20s together. We've grown a lot together, and he's just a great guy. He's someone that I look up to, someone that if I'm in a tough spot, I'll call. So for me to have him on swim lessons today was a big deal to me. What we talked about on the podcast has everything to do from having a girlfriend to having great parents to kind of being that part in your 20s where you're not sure where your life's going to go. So we talk about that. We talk a little football. We talk a little music. We talk a little sports. We talk about everything. And it was a great podcast, and I think you guys will really enjoy this one. It was by far our most fun one we've done so far. It was a little less professional. We got to crack a few beers. So without a doubt, here we go. Josh Theo.
Here come the boys. Y'all ready to go swimming, baby? Come on. Give it up. Get out of that water. I tried telling y'all, it's swim lessons, baby.
Josh, thanks for coming in, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Dude, look at that wristwatch. Show that to the camera, dude. Look at that swagger.
It's a little something.
A dance, make her dance. Dude, you look great, man.
Thanks, man.
It's very good to see you, my friend. Now, were the first friend I made in Arizona.
Absolutely.
So it's very surreal to me now. What was that, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, dude, coming on 6, actually.
Eventually. Carry the 2, take away the 3.
PEMDAS, they just...
But, Josh, you're from California, right?
Yeah, born in Detroit, Michigan, and then moved out to California when I was young.
So you went to school in Arizona too, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and what brought you out here what drew you to, what school did you go to first off?
So I went to Redlands High School, that was in California.
Okay.
In Southern Cal.
And then you decided, hey, I'm going to go out to, because you went to NAU in Northern Arizona University. What drew you out there?
Yeah, so actually it was funny enough, it was my dad, because I was applying all these schools, and they have 2 other friend groups that have kids around the same age as me, so they were all doing the college thing, at the same time. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I got waitlisted at like every Cal State school and like UC, which like was a blessing in disguise. I didn't know it yet, but he was like, hey, they were checking out Northern Arizona University. They said it reminds them a lot of like Big Bear, which is like in the mountains, up in California, not too far from us, like where I grew up snowboarding. And they were like, you would probably love it there. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to leave the state. Like, I don't want to go out of state. And we ended up going and checking it out. And like, it was cool, but I was still like pissed off teenager at the time. Like,
like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. Like, had
father of mine.
Fuck you, Dad. Like one of those things. And it was like, I had my first girlfriend at the time, and you finally get some missionary with the lights on. You're like, this is gonna be forever. It's gonna last forever. No, it still didn't even last 3 minutes. So what's it matter? But yeah, I ended up going out there and fucking hated it for like a week, and then I was like, oh, I'm on my own. Like, parents aren't just gonna pop in. Like parents weren't overbearing, but they're white parents. They're they care. So I finally had some freedom out there. And then in my second week, met a couple of my buddies from the Delta Chi fraternity, and they're like, hey, come out and rush, and ended up doing it. And it was the best decision I ever made.
The fraternity part was?
Oh yeah. That's what got me there.
Okay. So you're at NAU. When do you meet Sammy?
That would be...
Sammy's Josh's longtime girlfriend, by the way.
Yep. Almost 6 years now. And that was beginning of junior year of college.
Okay.
Yeah, she had actually studied abroad the semester before in Costa Rica with her friends. And so I met one of their friends that was still here, and then a bunch of them went. And then when they came back, they came over to our apartment because one of their mutual friends was friends with my roommate. And so I saw her, and I was like, who is that? Like, love at first sight nonsense. Really? But it was a heavy attraction at first sight. That's for sure.
What was just like, what was attractive to her? What drew you to her?
Well, she's Mexican, and she's got long dark hair, and like, just, I don't know, she wasn't like the loud, attention grabbing girl that you see in college sometimes. Not all like that, but she was just really relaxed, and unlike her, the girls around her who were a little bit more outspoken at the time, and it was just like, I don't know, she was
just different.
She's fucking hot, and like, she was really cool, and so I ended up getting like 3 minutes to talk to her one-on-one, and I was like, damn, I really like this girl.
Awesome, man.
So
so then how did you ask her out?
So I didn't know it, but at the time she was getting over a relationship that she had been in quite a few years with a guy back home. and she's from Nogales, which is like south of Tucson.
Okay.
So a little bit of ways away, and he was a little like clingy, but kind of like self-conscious, and was always like trying to check in and stuff, and she wasn't feeling it. So broke up with him, and she was still like trying to figure her own faculties out. And so when I asked her out at the time, it was probably like 6 months after I met her, so we were hanging out, like we were friends and everything, and I was like, hey, I really like you, like would like to take you out sometime, or get to know you, on a relationship level. And she's like, yeah, I'm just not really looking to date anyone, which in chubby white guy terms is like, I don't want to date you. So I was like, all right, well,
next,
back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
And actually ended up dating a different girl for like a couple weeks, and apparently that kind of drove her crazy, and she wanted to tell me that she liked me then, but didn't. So that girl's a psychopath, and then broke up with her, and then after, she gave me a little bit of time, and then was like, hey, do you want to give it a shot? And I was like, absolutely.
Hell yeah. That's awesome, man. So, I mean, that's kind of the way, especially in college, you kind of find yourself trying to not only learn about yourself, but you learn about what you're into, especially with females, what you want to do with your job, everything. So now after NAU, you've obviously been with Sammy for a little bit. You've worked different jobs. Where do you find yourself now?
Yeah, so after college, was still in Flagstaff, working on Enterprise. So I was at the airport location. They put me at the one in the city, and then I got promoted to the one down in Sedona. So Sedona and Cottonwood were the two offices that were like, that was the satellite was in Cottonwood. So what that means for the people who don't know, it's like you have your main location, and then there's one that's close by. It's not quite big enough to be its own location, so they'll have a branch manager and an assistant manager run both locations. Sometimes they flip-flop. Sometimes they just, you stay at this location, I'll stay at the other. Yeah. So, I ended up going there. Third day on the job as a manager at 22. Both the employees under me were like 48 and 50, and we're not trying to have any type of authority. But I was a pretty laid back guy. I didn't really care. I was like, dude, just work with me. Like, this is a fucking war zone. Like, let's get through this, renting cars to people.
What did you think of Sedona? Because I mean, that's like where a lot of, the guy that owns On It, he's over at Sedona now. There's just a lot of celebrities that are starting to like, it's a very attractive place to him. What did you find that you liked about Sedona?
I hope those fucking rocks burn to the ground. I hate that city so much. I hate the people that come through there. Yeah, the vortex it's all bullshit. Like, it like tainted me so much, because the people that I dealt with were like the businesses that were there. So if your business is doing well enough that you can maintain in Sedona, like, you're doing very well. So these are very entitled people. A lot of people traveling from out of state, from out of the country, who are very well to do, who carry themselves like they're very well to do. So there wasn't a lot of respect given, and again, that's fine. I'm in I was in basically retail sales with Enterprise at the time, renting cars. So a lot of people coming up from Phoenix and their cars broke down, and so they're yelling at me upset. Over stuff I can't control. And so it was just really jaded me, and so that was tough. Third day on the job, my employee under me punched my area manager.
What?
he like split his lip open. It was nuts. And that was at the other location, and one of the guys calls me, and he's like, yeah, so things have taken a weird turn here. So the one guy was late, and our area manager calls the guy who was late, going to that other location, yelling at him like, hey, you got to be here on time, all this stuff. And like, he was the nicest guy, nice Mormon dude, like to a T, like didn't even drink caffeine. Like, he was straight as could be and as nice as could be. But the only thing that made him mad is if you hung up on him on the phone. I lost him in service one time.
Oh no.
And he was like, he called me back. He's like, oh, did you just hang up on me? And that was like the only time he's ever had a serious tone. He was like that dude who's always smiling, like no matter what the situation is. And I was like, no, dude, just lost you in service. So
so it was okay.
Yeah, so it was all right.
Why, you son of a
I tell you what. But no, it saved me.
You lied to me. Sir, I said you were drinking coffee crystals.
Son of a bitch.
What? We're referencing the Chris Farley Saturday night in the commercial.
Colombian decaffeinated coffee crystals.
I said you're drinking coffee crystals. What? So after, you get interviewed with Enterprise, you kind of see the lay of the land with that. You find yourself down in Phoenix, right?
Yeah. After that, after I was in Sedona for a little bit, I actually tried to quit.
Really?
Yeah, because I was...
Your dad worked for the company too, right?
Yeah, he's almost 30 years in with Enterprise right now. So he...
fucking warrior.
I know. Yeah,
Holy
definitely
shit.
toughed it out. He started in Detroit and then got promoted to Southern California to sell their cars. So, and
Is he still with Enterprise?
Yep.
Damn.
Yep, still to this day.
Good for him.
Yeah, I talked to him today. He was getting out of a sale at the auction.
That's awesome.
Moving cars. So, yeah, he's the guy there. He sells a lot of their used vehicles. And, I thought growing up, like, okay, I'm going to go work for Enterprise and that's going to be it. Like, that's going to be the career. And I'm going to get into remarketing or some sort of fleet management or just whatever, wholesaling of some sort. And then that's going to be it. And, slowly realized that as the company grew and there were so many more people, it makes it a lot harder to get promoted.
Yeah.
I had like the number one profit in the state. I think I was number 2 in the state with Sedona and Cottonwood. And my branch manager, shout out to Amy, she was awesome. We busted our asses for that. And we were doing as good as we can, and a mixture of everything that we had there. It was a small location, didn't have a lot of cars to work with, a lot of people breaking down that we had to switch out into another vehicle, and body shops and all that made it really difficult to run as smooth as possible.
Right.
So it was constantly like, oh, I want to get promoted to a location in Phoenix or something like that. It was like, oh no,
Yeah.
So not good enough. Can't do it just yet.
Enterprise. I mean, so Enterprise is weird because they always kind of want more.
Oh, no matter what.
All right, so you did so good this month. Let's say you made 65,000 this month. Let's make that 80. Since you got to that 65 pretty easy when you might have made it look easy. No, 80.
Yeah, and it's
just business. It's just business.
No, seriously, and like the way that they bring it up to you is like you could be number one. You could have the best customer service scores. You could have the best sales numbers, the best profit. Everybody on the team is happy that you work with, and then your area manager and group rental manager will come in and be like, how come it wasn't better?
Yeah.
And it's not even like a, hey, good job,
No.
and then let's try to improve on this. It was like, oh, how come you didn't hit the next revenue mark, the next customer service score mark?
Right.
You could be number one in the world and number one in customer service and everything else, and they're like,
And that's not saying Enterprise is a bad company.
No.
I'm not saying
No,
that at all. I
they're very
enjoyed.
good
I
with people.
learned a shit ton from Enterprise.
they're the reason why I have any business knowledge today.
Oh, I know, and I learned a lot, but it's just a very grind-worthy, grueling job. Like it's Monday, it's 7 days a week mostly.
Yep.
It's usually like 7 a.m. to sometimes 6 at night. And you're dealing, like you just said, it's like retail. So you're dealing with customers who might not be happy. They might have had a bad flight. They're coming to pick up their car. I learned a lot about myself and with that job because it's like how somebody comes in pissed off. They don't know you from Adam. And then they just walk in and they just start yelling at you. And you just got to kind of find a way to calm them down. Just, hey, man, it's cool. Not maybe go like, hey, man, but excuse me, Mr. Tom, I'm sorry about that. We got your car getting vacuumed out here when it probably wasn't even 10 miles within the place.
It wasn't even on the lot. It didn't even return yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, dude, came back with a recall. We can't give that to you.
Yeah.
But no, absolutely. I do not mean to put any ill will on Enterprise at all. It's like they're a powerhouse business.
Oh, yeah.
They are number one in revenue by double-digit $1 billion next to Hertz, who is their second best. And they flaunt their whatever, their new customer service score is good. Who gives a shit? Like, no one stacks up next to Enterprise in terms of their business. And the reason why it's so demanding is because that section of business and life is so demanding. A car is how you get places.
Yeah.
These are how people are going to pick up their kids. They're going to work. I understand that they're stressed out. I would probably be stressed out too. The only thing that's different is I understand how the rental world works now. So when I go in to rent a car, I understand.
Yeah.
I don't get mad about that stuff. But if I didn't know any better, I couldn't,
I'm sure that's how it is for restaurant people too that worked in the restaurant business or, whatever it is. I'm sure they kind of have an extra little bit of a buffer zone, if you will, to like have some more patience. And so now let's go back to the story of Theo. You find yourself in Phoenix. Tell everybody about the first time you and I met.
Well, let's see. It was in the training class.
Yeah, the jury in.
The jury in, dude. Good. Shouts out to Lisa. She just got promoted.
Did she?
Yeah. I won't give her
she's
last
the
name
bomb.
for respect there,
Yeah,
but she was awesome. Yeah, she's the, like the whole group manager there for.
Oh, wow.
For her position, so awesome there. And yeah, the jury in, and we end up in a hotel room with all the other people there who like actually partied.
Yeah,
because I was basically I was.
We were in training for Enterprise, and I remember you and I kind of became good buddies because we were drinking. And one long day after training, I was like, dude, Josh, you want to go get some beers or something? And we walked across. Then like 5 or 6 other people were like, hey, we'll come with you.
Yeah,
we'll come get some beers, dude.
Total Wine and Liquor. Was
Total Wine and Liquor. Yeah. So we went over, got some beers. remember that one chick who will remain undefined. She got that bottle of Jack Daniels. I remember I looked at you. I'm like, dude, I think that's the stripper of the group. Remember that?
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, I used to wait tables in
I
Vegas."
was like,
And we were like, "Sure, yeah, wait tables in Vegas."
Wait tables in Vegas.
Yeah, for sure. You're not even from there.
I was just so funny how you and I were sitting back because we ended up having a party. I think it was in your or whose room? It was in someone's room.
One of the guys from Tucson.
Yeah, we ended up all partying in a room. And remember, you and I were sitting back. We're like kind of grading everybody. I'm like, okay, the stripper's over there. Okay, we've got the guy who used to sell drugs on the corner of Thomas and 80th right over there. We've got this guy. I think he's a virgin. He's only had like half a Bud Light and he's stumbling. Yeah. Then we've got you and I, kind of the cool kids of the group. Dude, how fun was that?
That was awesome, man.
Like looking back at how young we were and how just inexperienced and how we were just like, hey, let's all get a beer, and we all just came together, dude. That was so sick.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like a natural thing. Like, like Lord of the Flies or something, where we're all just like, all right, we're on our own here. Like, we're kind of adults, but like, I think I was still in college because I was an intern at the time.
Oh.
So I had one more semester of school left. So I was like freshly 21, like didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, all right, nice guy from the Midwest. All right, cool. What's your name? Dalyss? You spell it weird, but that's fine. All right, let's hang out,
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it was fun too because we never, like now, dude, when I drink, my hangovers are horrible.
Oh my God, dude.
And I don't like to drink too much. I mean, like you and I are having a beer during this podcast, it's chill. But like if I'm out till like 1 a.m., dude, my next day is shot. I'm shot. Like after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl and I end up going out, dude, I was out of commission. Yeah. I was just like, oh my God, now I remember why I can't get like this. Like, Jesus, my brain is, I like to call it vegetable brain. You know, the next day you're like, oh, what is going on?
Oh yeah.
But okay, so we finished up training. You go, what did you think of that whole enterprise training? Because it kind of teaches you a lot about yourself and kind of what you're trying to do and sales.
Yeah, it was just a lot at once because you're trying to learn this whole side of the rental business. And then there's the sales part of it too, where it's like, you think you know kind of how to sell something, but you have no idea. And they're telling you like how to work it out and, you know, how to do it in our industry. So it was like a lot going on there. And then like trying to learn, you know, the system that they use. And then I started off at the airport and they used a different system. So I was like, airport. Oh crap. So
that is an interesting place.
Yeah, especially in Flagstaff because it wasn't super big, but excuse me, there was enough going on that kept us running around all day, that's for sure.
So after you finish up training, when did you actually move to Phoenix?
I want to say it was 3 years ago or so I was about 2 years in with Enterprise.
And then so you spend a year down here working for Enterprise, and then you and I ended up, I left Enterprise, floated around, and I ended up at ZipRecruiter. Yep. And you end up at Indeed.
Yeah, not too long after.
And they're like the two big guys of recruiting.
Yep. So from a number one company to the other number one two companies.
Yeah, well, ZipRecruiter was number two. But then that was kind of interesting how we both kind of followed not in each other's footsteps, but we just kind of end up in the same market, if you will.
Yeah, completely. Like,
it's very random.
We never talked to each other about it either. Yeah. Like, hey, I think I'm going to work here. It was after the fact.
Well, we always kept in touch. But it was never like, hey, what do you think about this? We just kind of ended up. So we end up at that. What's your thoughts on the recruiting world and how wild it is?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes with its own challenges as well, like any industry does. And it's, I think it's a little bit better because from going where we were at Enterprise, where it was like, not only do we have to manage ourselves and our performance and how we sell, it also is like, okay, here's the monthly income statement for your branch specifically. What are you going to do to improve it? And you have this entire back end of like, oh, I got to worry about getting these cars in when I need them and trying to manage my fleet, manage my people, everything else. And then now it's okay, here you are, here's your accounts, it's you. Yeah. So it was like a nice switch, like a nice change of pace to like an independence of like, okay, I control what I do. Because, you know, in the enterprise world, you could be doing everything correctly and you could be on top of the leaderboard and all that. But, you know, if everyone else isn't trying to be on that same path, like it's going to go down as a whole and you're going to feel the wrath for it. You know, of just, hey, we got to do better, guys. We got to do better. And so it was nice to just be on my own. Like, had my own desk. Like I got to, you know, take a full hour for lunch and things like that. And it was a lot different to go from in-person face-to-face sales to going over the phone and like, all right, I have to fight through all these different ways of
Because you can read like Enterprise, we could read people, their body language when they're selling, if they're into it, if they're not. Oh, yeah. When you're on the phone, because that's how ZipRecruiter was too. Yep. A lot of phone work, very rarely seeing a person face to face. So it's like you can't read body language over the phone. You got to be like, okay, this guy's voice is kind of quivering. This guy doesn't answer me so many times a day. He's ghosting me after he says, yeah, that sounds great, Dalyss. Yeah, we'll take the $3,000 deal. Yeah. And then ghost, never hear from him again. Yeah. You son of a bitch.
Yeah, but like, what?
Damn you!
Yeah, I can't go.
Hey, boss, I got one on the hook here. You know how it is on a Friday. I got one on the hook. Come on, Charlie, give me more money. Then you call him, doesn't answer. You leave him like 3 voicemails. You sound like the needy girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever.
Hey, James, what happened? I never heard back from you.
You only call me when you want punani.
You told me I was special. Yeah. I wasn't like those other job sites.
So true, dude.
But I can't go kick down doors in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. I'm in Arizona. I can't be flying around. So
yeah, exactly.
It was its own set of challenges, but I mean, it was also very fruitful as well.
Yeah,
it was really good.
It was a brand new world, and now, like, you're in a kind of a different space right now. You're looking for something, the next step in the Josh Theo life.
Yeah,
and what you want to be. And I call you Theo because that's your nickname for me. So everybody listening, I call him Theo. So that's what we're gonna do.
Not a problem.
But anyways, you're kind of looking for Theo's next chapter, and that's why I want to have you on today, because you are kind of a warrior in that sense. When I first met you, you were finishing this chapter of college. You were like, hey, I'm gonna go do this with Enterprise, and now you went to Indeed and you were very successful there, and now you're looking at this next successful chapter, if you will. And what are your thoughts? Because I want to talk to someone today about kind of maybe someone who's listening to this has been in a similar situation where they're trying to figure out their next step, whether it's going to be a different job, different realm, different type of attribute they can apply to the world. What are you going through right now, Josh?
Yeah, so I feel like I've had it in a few different steps, where when it was getting the initial job with Enterprise as an internship, or jobs in college, where it was like, this is kind of, an exterior thing. It's ancillary. It's not quite, this is my primary need and motivation right now.
Yeah.
To going to Enterprise full time after my internship, where it was like, okay, here's my career, here's what I'm going to do. And then leaving for Indeed, which was, okay, here's something I think that's going to be better, to where I'm at now, where it's like, I don't know. And there's a bit of unknown out there. And, luckily I'm in a position where I have some time to figure that out, but it's a
scary spot.
Yeah, I would say that for sure.
It's a scary spot, especially when you kind of, do you need a beer?
Sure.
Nick, can we get one? Nikki, Can we get one? Nikki is doing a great job producing and playing. Nick does a great cocktail.
Oh, yeah?
He mixes them up. He's kind of taking an art to it. But going back to what you're saying, dude, it's a very scary spot.
Absolutely.
And unless you do things like you're doing, that's kind of the point of swim lessons, is ways to combat different situations, and that's the way you do things. And I think that's great because, you want to hand me your glass?
Oh, sure thing. Thank you.
Because when you're going through a tough time like this, Josh, you need to go to the gym. You need to talk to people. You need to call, friends like myself. Hey, man, what do you think of this situation? You need to talk to your girlfriend, Sam. You need to call your dad, figure out things. So what have you applied that are similar to that to, your current state that you're in?
Yeah, so definitely just from day one, it's always been, mom and dad are my rocks. Like, I probably have it better than almost anyone else. Like, my parents have been together since they were in high school. Like, there's never been a day where it was like, it was bad. Like, there's ups and downs, like that's life. But they've always been like as solid as possible. And like, they've always done a really good job of being like, hey, you can come to us with anything.
Yeah.
There's been things I've had to talk to them about that I would never want to, like, oh, I can't tell you guys that. But, whatever situation I find myself in, I need to. And, like, through this, like, I talk to my parents every day as it is. I know that sounds weird, but like every day.
I think it's a good thing. If you have that relationship.
Yeah, like if I go a day without calling them and I call them the next day, they're like, oh, who's this? Oh, stranger. Like, they're hilarious.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, sir.
It's a fun, it's a fun relationship to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's beneficial.
It's so rewarding.
Yeah. And I'm sure they are more than helpful to situations where you are in a pickle or you are looking to figure out your next step.
Yeah, they've been there. They had my sister when my dad was 19 and my mom was 20. Like, they were kids. My dad was a sophomore in college, like playing football in Michigan. Like, and it would have been really easy to just quit or take the easy way out or whatever it was. Like, my mom stopped working and she was like, you're finishing school. Like, I don't care what it is. Or I should say, she stopped going to school and started working. and told my dad, like, I don't care what happens, you're finishing college, and then we're going to figure it out from there. Because my dad had a full ride scholarship to play football.
At Michigan?
It was called Northwood University in Michigan.
Northwood, okay,
so
cool.
The MIT for all you Michiganders is like right in the middle, Midland, Michigan.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, he could have gone to U of M or State or Ohio State or Louisville or wherever he wanted, but he didn't have the grades. So that's one thing he got on me for a lot.
Grades?
Yep.
Well, see, that's a lesson that he learned that he was able to give to you.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure it was helpful to you, you know? But now, I mean, what do you want to accomplish moving forward? Because you've got all this you've got all these great sales experiences. You've got all these good things moving in your mind or moving in your life. What do you want to see happen?
Yeah, I think one thing that's nice when we start to get our experience in our careers, like moving into the latter half of our 20s, is we can start to maybe reserve the quick decisions of I'm going to take the next job, I'm going to take the next thing for something that is more along the lines of what we want to do.
Right.
So for me, it's like when I was getting ready to leave Indeed and was, looking for other places to work, it was like all these different companies were starting to email me because they saw my resume and were like, okay, cool, you have some sales experience, like come in and do this cold calling job, come in and do this outside sales. You start with no contacts, you have to completely do it on your own. Well, before I probably would have took the first one that contacted me, but now I can actually take the time to like research a company, see if it's something that I actually want to do. And I think that's something that a lot of people can take advantage of, is like take a second and not jump at the first thing, and then see if like, okay, is this long term something I could see myself doing, or is this because I need to pay the bills right now, so I'm going to take it, which I've done that and I'm doing that currently. So I totally understand that too. And then just make sure it's something that like you want to do, like something you're passionate about, something that you can wake up and go, all right, it's time to get to work. Like work isn't going to be fun every day, but if it's something that you somewhat care about, it makes it a little bit easier.
Well, there's so many people that are our age, like in the late part of their 20s, where they've had a few jobs, they've got different types of things under their belt that they know they don't maybe want to do, and then they find themselves like, oh shit, man, I'm almost 30. And even people in their 30s I know that are in a similar situation. That's why I thought it was pretty cool that you uniquely were in this situation, because all my friends are, more than half of them are kind of where we are. Yeah, they have a decent job, but they're kind of looking for that next dream goal that they want to accomplish. And it's a sticky spot, dude.
It's weird.
It's a weird spot.
It's weird. I can't come into a company and be some type of director or manager. Right. Like I'm not quite there yet, but I'm also not going to go into the next position at the very bottom of the totem pole and start fresh like I've done at my last two jobs. And it's like, I know I'm better than that, but I'm not quite where I can come in and, make serious decisions that could change a company. Right. I'm not quite there yet either.
Well, dude, something you do really good is you pretend, and like this is why I was like I'm like, god damn, I gotta be friends with that guy, because you're like, dude, you just have a way about your demeanor, the way you handle yourself, the way you talk to people, where it's like, I've known this guy for like 10-12 years. It's just crazy. You can't teach that. So that's something that'll keep you successful. For kudos to you on that, because it'll keep you successful for years to come. That's why you'll always be good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man. Like you always have this demeanor where it makes people feel comfortable. And I mean, yeah, no problem, man. I'm sure like your girlfriend says the same thing, and your mom and dad, like they all believe in you for a reason, man. It's just part of our 20s, if you will. And it's a part of kind of learning who we are. I mean, dude, I'm going through the same shit. I've got a good job right now. But I'm trying to do this comedy thing. I'm trying to podcast shit. I'm trying to it's just about exploring different avenues of life. And I think it's going to be very beneficial for other people who are in their 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s or whatever, just to like hear us kind of talk about that. So I mean, what is something you've taken away from this experience that you're kind of going to use moving forward?
Yeah, I think now I'm more comfortable being uncomfortable, and going through this time where it's like, okay, well, is this where I want to work? Is this what I want to do? Yeah. I might not like this job long term. It's like, well, you know what? That's okay. I know enough to get by. I've put myself into a situation where I could get by when times are bad or when times are good. I know how to be poor. I know how to have nothing. When I was a bouncer,
Taco Bell.
When I was a bouncer in college, I was getting like $150 every 2 weeks. I was getting paid like $8 an hour to have drunk people yell at me and try to fight me all the
Dalyss,
time.
Taco Bell is rich people food, man. You're not eating Taco Bell if you're poor. You're eating ramen, bro. You're eating cup of noodles, 30 cents, man.
Yeah. That is true.
I went to Taco Bell like 3 days ago, and it was like $7 for two items, man.
What?
That's expensive, dude. You got the wrong items, apparently.
Dude, they stepped up their marketing budget.
Did.
So
they actually, Nick's right there.
They got up the prices.
I always get the what's the name of the one with like the three, not the 3-layer taco.
Oh, it's a 5-layer, baby.
Dude, they got a 5-er. Think of it later.
Are you talking about a taco? Are you talking like...
No, yeah, like it's a burrito style.
A beefy 5-layer burrito?
No, it's the
Gordita Crunch?
Nope.
Snackers, dude?
Nope.
Grillers?
Nope.
Chillers?
Nope. It's got like a no, dude. It's got the
Snackers, grills. Sure.
Nick. No, I'll think of it later. I'll come back to it. Yeah, pull me up that menu.
Explain it to me. Tell me about
it's
it.
Like a burrito.
In immense detail.
How's it make you feel inside?
It makes me feel like I'm goddess. It's a burrito with like beef burrito, something like that.
Okay, I'll find it.
Beef. Anyways, quesarito. Quesarito, dude. Those are the shiz. I love those quesaritos. All right, so now that we're all caught up on your life, everybody knows all about you. I want to talk about something that, because you're very similar to me. When you love something, you go all in. You're all deep. That's why we're good buddies. I love the Chiefs. You love the Lions.
Unfortunately, yes.
Dude, talk to us about how, because you said you were born in Detroit, right?
Yeah.
I was born real.
Fun fact, there's no South Detroit.
There's no South Detroit?
Yeah,
so Kid
Journey
Rock
song.
lied to us?
No, that Journey song.
Oh, the Journey song.
Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. It's just something to play at Red Wings games, so everyone gets all excited. Now,
if they did that song now, they'd have to go, just a ginger neutral. Going to, you know what I mean, dude? Times have changed. Check plays.
Going to goat yoga.
Goat yoga.
Whatever they do.
He's going to a microbrewery afterwards. Do. Tries on different clothes. Target is closed.
I take the Uber home. Lyft was too expensive.
I'm riding a bird now. I'm cruising.
Dude, you do know I'm an audio engineer. We can just create the parody if you want, man.
Wait until you hear our intro song, dude. Wait till you hear that. I'll show you after the show. So let's talk about the Lions. What is your love affair? Why do you love the Lions? Why do you love it?
We did from birth, man.
Yeah,
from birth. You know,
I think that's the way it starts.
Yeah, born there. You know, when I moved away, I was like 3, and went back twice a year up until I went to college. Summer, Christmas time. You know, probably been there more holidays than I was in California.
Yeah.
So grandparents were out there, you know, cousins, uncle, everybody was out there. Godfather was out there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, went to college, so it wasn't as easy. But yeah, dude, just like that's all I knew.
Yeah.
I think I got a Packers shirt one time, and my dad about kicked me out of the house. So yeah, it was
get the hell out of here.
It's like I don't care about you or that fucking Favre guy.
Favre.
The Favre. Him and his jean shorts can fuck off. You know?
Have you been to many Lions games?
Yes, I've been to quite a few.
What's it like there? Because it's at the, what's it called? Not the
Ford Field.
Silver Dome was the old
that
spot.
Was the old one in Pontiac. Yeah,
dude, that was so I'm going to tell everybody about the Barry Sanders thing. Remember last year when I texted you?
So fucking jealous.
So
jealous.
For that DC Classic, this basketball tournament I run for a friend of mine who passed away, I always would get auction items. And this guy I get auction items from was like, hey man, I've got Barry Sanders in Vegas next week. And he said this to me like 4 years prior. He's like, got Barry Sanders. Are you interested? I'm like, yeah, it's Barry Sanders. I'm interested. All-time great running back. That would be a great auction item to have at the Classic tournament. And he's like, well, might be able to get you a seat from the Silver Dome too. I'm like, no way, Jeff. Like, that's dope. Like, how much is it gonna be? He's like, $1,500. I'm like, nope, can't do it, because this is all shit that, you know, me or
so you had to put it up, right?
So I'd have to pay for it. I was like, dude, I can't do that. Yeah. I can barely afford a burrito at Taco Bell.
But anyways, barely keep the Hyundai running, buddy.
Yeah, come on
now,
Charlie. Anyways, so he calls me the next year. He's like, got the same deal to take $500 off. I was like, 1,000 or whatever. No, I can't do it. So then last year, he's like, dude, I actually have a number 20 seat. And Barry Sanders was number 20. He has, I have number 20 seat. I've seen what you've done with this tournament. I really like it. Just get your ass to Vegas Saturday at 8 a.m. This was Monday. He's like, Saturday at 8 a.m. I'll hook it up. Just pay for your own gas and then buy me a meal. And I'm like, I'm there, Jeff. So I was there. And dude, I gotta say this, Barry was probably the coolest. Like he sat, like I get to go in early just because I know Jeff. And Jeff is the guy that runs the shop, and Barry was just nice. Like, he was just cool. He was like you and I sitting down right now, and he was just talking, and I told him about the tournament. But anyways, they gave me the number 20 seat from the Silver Dome. Barry Sanders signed in a fat black marker. First thing I did was text Josh, like, hey, buddy, check out what I did today.
So mad, dude. He sent me a picture with him, too. And I was like, oh, fucking... The great one.
That'd be like me meeting Patrick Mahomes with a number 15 seat from the Arrowhead. You know, it's like, fuck, man. How did you... But it was just blessed. So I'm sure you'll get to meet Pat and something. You'll be able to throw something in my face.
Come back. I'm gonna get
It'll come back around.
Priest Holmes is going to sign my tits or something. I'm going to be like, check it out, Dalyss. And I'll auction off these sweet babies.
But yeah, so what's it like to go to a Lions game? I mean, is it pretty... Do they have like a chant? They have...
Yeah, we have a song that they play with when they score touchdowns. So you probably hear it about once a season, and yeah, forward down the field. It's like that. They got some guy on the sideline with a hard hat who sings it. But it's actually a really cool atmosphere, like outside of the stadium, because Ford Field is right across the street from Tiger Stadium, and then there's a bar on the corner.
So they're that type of place. They do the baseball, football together.
Yeah, and then they just built Little Caesars Arena down the street, so you can walk to all of them if you want to.
That's sick. I like that when cities do that.
Yeah, it's really cool because real estate in Detroit, believe it or not, pretty cheap. So
yeah,
yeah, dude, fucking Detroit.
Yeah, I've never been. Dude.
It's awesome. I love that city so much.
It's sick.
Yeah, especially growing up where it's like we don't stop at red lights.
Really?
No. There was a very minimal police force for a while.
Yeah,
because the city was broke.
Yeah,
Kwame Kilpatrick, dude, was just swooping money from the city.
Yeah,
and they finally got rid of him. But yeah, it was scary growing up, and then now it's like they're just pumping money into it. Dan Gilbert, God bless him, dude, guy who owns Quicken Loans.
Yeah,
he owns most of Detroit.
Does he really?
Oh, he owns a lot of the buildings.
He owns the Cavaliers too, right? The Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes, and Quicken Loans. So the dude is doing well for himself. And
who owns the Lions?
The Ford family.
Duh.
Fucking sell it.
Durr.
I'm so sick of them.
Are you really?
Yes, they're ruining
Why?
the team. Because, dude, fucking Matt Millen was our GM for a while.
God, he was
drafted.
That guy was more interested in Laffy Taffies than quarterbacks.
No shit. Who drafted Joey Harrington, Charles Rogers,
the GOAT, dude. Joey Harrington is the GOAT.
Jesus,
he needs to be on The Bachelor. He's like that type of guy.
No.
What's your profession? Well, I was a quarterback for the Lions. Won about 2 games in 5 years.
Yeah, averaged half a touchdown per 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
No, I don't hate Joey Harrington. I just fucking.
What'd you think of Calvin Johnson? Because the Lions have this whole running thing of people that are really good.
They're ruining athletes.
And they're retiring early. Like Barry retired early. Calvin retired pretty early.
Yeah. I think Barry was just in a league of his own. Like, he is a very special person. You know, he's often compared to, Dickerson and Emmitt Smith and Sweetness, and he's not any of them because of his personality, too. He's a very humble guy. Like, you can see throughout high school, college, and pros, he never celebrated his touchdown.
Yeah.
He was his own man.
Oh, yeah.
And so what I could conclude or think or estimate what might have happened is that, his body was just tired.
Yeah.
He ran hard. He was their whole offense.
Right.
And I think he was done with the game. He carried that team for a little while, and quite literally, and he was great, and maybe he didn't feel great anymore, or maybe he was just tired of the game and didn't want to play football specifically. I don't think that would be so much as on the Lions, because he was his own man,
Yeah.
And I think with Calvin, I mean,
God, he was the best.
He's physically,
he was so good.
Not a real human. He's 6'4", 6'5". 240 and ran a 4.3.
I remember him at Georgia Tech.
Yep. That
a
catch,
freak.
The catch he had where he's running full speed, he stops and reaches back and catches it. Like, that is not humanly possible when you're that big, that fast.
No.
To stop and catch a ball. Like, they did the sports science on him, where if you put him in a 2-car garage or 1-car garage, any pass he could catch.
I get a kick out of that sports science
incredible
guy. So what we did here was we measured out Calvin Johnson going against a semi-truck at the same speed. And here's what we found. And Calvin Johnson actually is the same amount of force that a semi-truck would have.
No, exactly.
It's like, God.
Exactly.
Easy.
He's a V8 turbo diesel.
He's got the same amount of torque that a Ford Trend Truck of the Year Dodge Ram does.
Yeah, Ram Lover 69 is just beating off right now.
It's like, Ram Lover. Yes.
They said my truck. But But yeah, I think Calvin was he was physically not supposed to be that spectacular.
Do you need a refill, brother?
Sure.
Should we dig into the mixes?
I'm gonna stick with beer.
I'm gonna have a beer too.
You gotta be responsible.
Bud Light,
Thank you
please.
so much.
Yeah, no. I was just, geez, made me look like the jackass the group.
You gotta stick with one alcohol. I had 4 different alcohols last Friday.
Whoa.
Yeah, talk about a hangover. Where you said like, oh,
Bud Light. Yep.
I know I can't drink like I used to. Like I know I can't, but I still do.
Right.
So life just continues to be painful. But with Calvin, I think he was just. I mean, his body was actually breaking down. Like he said that he couldn't bend his ankles.
God.
Because he was just so beat up and like.
Especially with all the technology they have in the NFL, like with the boots and the steam bath and all that other shit. You know?
Yeah, and even with all that.
Steam bath. I mean, steam room and steam bath. Yeah. Steam room and the ice bath and all that other shit.
Yeah, and even then,
they still. I mean, it's a rough sport, dude. That's why we love football.
Yeah,
it's rough. It's rough tumble. It's the way it goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I played it for 6 years.
Right.
Can feel it.
Oh yeah, me too. Dude.
Let alone 15 plus if you add up from when you were a kid and
professional athletes. I mean, dude, and like the part of the reason that I played in college and I didn't play the most in college, but it's tough. It kind of becomes a job. It's like, especially in college, it becomes a job. It becomes, you got to lift weights now. You got to lift weights. This almost takes the fun of it because when you're a kid in high school, thanks, brother.
Thank you very much.
When you're a kid, it's just kind of like, hey, I get to go play with my friends. But like when it turns into a job, it kind of takes the fun of it. So I can see where Barry and all those other guys are coming from.
You see the business side of it.
Especially
in the NCAA, and then even more so in college. God. These are billion-dollar teams, man. If they want you out there, they're going to encourage you very highly to be out there.
Yeah.
And I think Calvin's body just broke down.
Now you've brought some talking points. So I'm going to give you let's go over a few of these points because I asked you to have a few points because we're kind of doing a broad, having a few beers, very lackadaisical, not lackadaisical, but very relaxed podcast. Cheers, by the way.
Oh, cheers, partner.
Here's to you, dude. We're filming this on a Friday. We're having a little fun.
Yeah, little Friday beers.
Little Friday
beer action. Yeah, I mean these were more of just like.
Let's see a few, dude.
Okay, yeah. Well, a lot of it we covered, but I mean, you asked me to do some personal things. I mean, for me, it's just I'm absolutely blessed.
Yeah,
like, I have had a very comfortable life. Thanks to the hard work of my parents and my grandparents, and I haven't had to want for much growing up. And as I got put out into the real world. Mm-hmm. I discovered very quickly like how good my parents were to me.
Yeah.
I think one thing that woke me up a lot was like I was in like 5th grade and my mom got really sick.
Oh no.
She had ulcerative colitis, but the doctors didn't know what it was at the time.
Okay.
So there was a few years there where we didn't know what was going to happen.
What do you mean sick? Like what was some symptoms? What was going on?
So she just felt really bad all the time. Stomach problems a lot. So they think it's caused from stress, or maybe it's diet, or maybe it's in you genetically, and things aggravate it.
Yep.
So she would start hemorrhaging, and she had ulcers along her large intestines, and they didn't know what it was. Damn. Though they were like, oh, it's a regular infection. Here, take these antibiotics and get out. And there was times where she wouldn't be able to like walk from like the parking lot to the store that we were going into because they had her pumped up on so many different drugs. She was on every kind of steroids. Like they even fucked around with giving her like anti-rejection medication that they give to transplant patients. Like they even didn't know at the time.
Right.
And then, God bless them, Dr. Rivera came along and was like, yep, here's what you have. Here's ulcerative colitis or it's Crohn's disease. What we can do is remove your large intestine and then you'll have a colostomy bag for 6 months and then we'll reconnect your small intestine to the rest of your digestive tract. But they didn't know until they got into surgery.
How many years was she dealing with this?
3 or 4.
Wow.
Roughly. And it was when I was in like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, right around there.
So little Josh was kind of like, wow, life is kind of precious.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Saw my dad stressed out for the first time.
Weird to see someone you look up to like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I never seen him like that before. He was always Captain Cool, like no matter what. Mm-hmm. He was like, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll be good. And like to see him, like, again, he didn't, act out in any way or anything, but just to like see it on his face that he was worried, like that was a big wake up call. So, always grew up going to church and never really cared about it. And then through those times where I really found like my faith in God, personally, and not here to push it on anybody, but that's my thing, and that's what helped me get through it. Personally, and luckily that doctor was there. So thank God, thank science, all of it. He ended up doing us a real solid there. And so I owe that guy a beer if I ever see him again.
Yeah, hell yeah, a few beers.
Hell yeah, dude.
No, dude, this is a very open podcast. Whatever you want to talk about, I mean, I'm totally cool with that. I mean, I'm Catholic. I believe in the same shit. It's kind of funny you mention that because my mom just had surgery, kind of similar. She had like a flip stomach with a.
Oh, really?
Something. God, I'll have to double check. But yeah, she's been struggling too. So I kind of know where you're coming from on that because it's scary. Yeah. Because we've both been lucky enough to have mom and dad, good people, but it's when like one of them's hurt or one of them's stressed out, it's kind of tough. Yeah, it's like a weird situation.
Yeah, to see your superheroes,
weak
in any way.
Dude, it's
a big deal.
Especially you look up to him, like you said, we talk to him every day, and to hear him kind of down, not down and out, but just kind of down,
going through it.
Yeah, and where you gotta kind of be like, okay, I'm gonna have to be their knight in shining armor. I have to be their guy that brings confidence to the room,
which is so weird. Yeah, to think like whether you're a kid or you're a young adult or wherever it is, to like reassure your parents in any way is just so weird because you're like, no, it's gonna be like this forever. Right. Like they're gonna hold down the ship forever. They're gonna everything's gonna be perfect forever. It's not. It's not. It's a big wake up call. So it makes you appreciate quite a bit. Been to way too many funerals in my days for people who were way too young to go, and just makes you appreciate everything so much more, and try to stay positive and not let that bad day get you down because it could be a lot worse.
That's so true, dude. Thanks for sharing that. And I mean, well, just like that jersey behind you, Kobe Bryant. I mean, dude, you're talking about a guy who changed the world in so many just aspects of how to work, just like from days like regular jobs to basketball to whatever, to being like, he went from being a guy who was just interested in himself. That's why I find the story of Kobe so interesting. That's why I hang a jersey in this studio, because he went from being very self-centered to like, hey, I want to become the best, I want to do this, I want to do that, to like a very good teammate. He still shot a lot, but a very good teammate, very successful person. I remember when they got rid of Shaq, and they're like, he's never going to win again. And then he ended up winning like 2 more titles?
I believe so.
And I'm wearing a Shaq Lakers jersey today. That's funny. But anyways, after that, he kind of transitioned to like this father figure who wanted to create something for Gigi that was like this crazy. I remember they were talking about like they were doing an interview with him. They're like, why did you create the Mamba University or whatever he had, Mamba school? He's like, well, everybody wanted me to just come to him because I was Kobe. They didn't care about my daughters, so I decided just to create my own thing. That explains everything I need to hear about Kobe as a father. He just kind of took it under his own thing, and I mean, he had the financial strength to do that, but he just wanted to be there for his kids. And I mean, that's like the ultimate. That's why I view him as such, and that's why I think it was such a shock to so many people and affected so many people, because he was not only a great athlete, great person. I mean, he had his own troubles just like everybody does, but at the end of the day, dude, everybody viewed him as an athlete and a father. And yeah, we didn't know him. Yeah, we never met him. A lot of us didn't, but it was like a friend of ours.
Yeah. And it's like you get to see them as a real person.
You really do.
Through their struggles and everything. It's not like, well, he shows up on game day, he's wearing a cool suit, and he took a helicopter in. It's like you get to know them outside of it. Right. The struggles he went through, we saw, first person, and which is unfortunate. I hate that, they get put on blast right in front of everybody, no matter what the situation is. But then afterwards, like you saw him trying to make a positive impact, and really put his daughters and his all of his kids
to the forefront,
absolutely, and put them up on a pedestal, and really you could see, like when he was doing interviews, like his genuine love and appreciation for them, right, and for his whole family. And
it's a lesson I'm gonna take, whenever I decide to be a papa.
I already got the vasectomy, so I don't have to worry about that. So.
Snip. No, dude, Kobe just, I mean, that's right around when we were launching this podcast. So like, it was like, it's the people that you don't expect to leave end up going. I mean, I had one of my best friends in high school pass away when he was a senior in high school, and he was the last person that I would imagine. I'm sure your mom was the last person you thought would get sick. And it's just weird. It's a shock to the system. It's something that you can't explain, something you can't figure out. And just, it's a very scary feeling.
Yeah, I think the first one that really rocked, like, where I was in high school and everything was good, football, everything was great. And my friend Quinn McCaleb, rest in peace, was, the first friend I had in middle school where kids were picking on me and being mean to me. Like, he was one who, came up, and I knew him from elementary school for like a second. I wasn't really friends with him, whatever, but actually, got to know everybody and just had a genuine love for everyone, and ended up getting caught up in a stupid situation, and, someone took his life. And I remember like that happening.
What? Like, someone took his life?
Yeah, he got shot when we were in high school. I believe we were juniors or seniors, and like, wow, that was like the first funeral I went to that wasn't, someone who was a grandparent, a great grandparent, I should say.
Right, someone your age.
Yeah, and that was like, dude, he's my age.
That could have been, well, that could have been easily been me.
Yeah,
could have been. I could have been one. Yeah, that's, dude. It's intense.
Yeah.
And it's something I remember, when I was the same thought that you had. I remember sitting at the funeral being like, damn, dude, this could have been my parents sitting in that first pew. This could have been me. This could have been, and that just kind of goes to what this podcast is about with swim lessons. It's just kind of living life every day to the most, making sure you're learning from certain situations, trying to become the best you can be. Follow your dreams, because if you don't follow your dreams, what do you want your life to be remembered as? Yeah. You want to be your life remembered as someone who worked at Enterprise Car Rental and just did something they didn't really like the most? Or do you want to remember it as the guy who took a few chances, who took a few shots, who learned from some mistakes, who went the way that he wanted his life to go, that married the chick that he fell in love with right when he saw her at NAU, that went after certain things, that listened to his parents, that tried to become someone that he saw in his dreams? And it's impactful. And I think that's kind of how you and I have that mindset, is because we went through some shit when we were younger. And it's good to go through, but it's also hard. And I mean, I wonder what your parents thought when they saw that your friend got shot and stuff.
Oh, dude, they were heartbroken. Didn't even know him. They were heartbroken.
Yeah. Well, it's gotta be tough. I mean, they probably thought the same thing. Man, that could have been little Josh,
Yeah. Dude, good old Redlands, California, where nothing happens.
Right.
There's never any trouble like that.
Right.
Let alone, a junior or sophomore in high school, getting shot over some stupid shit, fight in the bathrooms.
Yeah, it's not worth it. It's crazy.
It sucks, and it's like, I don't know. I think you can learn a lot from it, like just to like appreciate like what you have, like every day, like even a bad day, and I think it also fills me with like that fear of regret, like you were talking about. Like, I'm so scared to look back in 20 years and be like, why didn't I do this thing? Why didn't I do that thing? Like, what would my friends have wanted for me who aren't here anymore, or my family? Like, am I who I want to be when I look in the mirror? Like, am I embarrassed to look at myself in the mirror, or like, am I proud of what I've done? Am I proud that I failed a few times?
What do you see? What do you see when you look in that mirror? What else you got on that list, brother? Let's go through some more of the shit.
Yeah, these were just a few like off top questions for you, but I'm fucking jealous of you, man. You got to meet a lot of really cool people. So I just want to know, like, who's the coolest celebrity you've met?
Me, the coolest celebrity.
Let's do celebrity and then athlete.
Okay.
So,
David Spade, celebrity, because I was doing an open mic.
So jealous of you.
I was doing like this shitty open mic. I was having a hard day. I was sucking ass at comedy, bombing. Because these open mics, there's like 13 other people in the crowd. There, like 10 of them are other comedians who were just there to get up there and work out their stuff. And one of the comics was like, "Hey man, did you see Spade's over across the street at a bookstore?" And I'm like, "What, David Spade?" And I was like, they're like, "Yeah, we don't really care, but yeah, he's over there." And I'm like the guy. I'm like, yeah, I'll see you guys later. I just did myself. I'm like, I'm gonna go. Good luck to everybody tonight. And I sprinted over there. And like I said, I had a long day. And I get over to this bookstore, and there's a line like 50 deep. And I'm like, God damn, do I wait this out? So I'm like, I'm just gonna wait. I don't have anything else to do. It was Friday night. I wait, and sure enough, here comes in Spade Man. And he sits down, and he was a book signing, so he was signing books. So, and I had like $100 to my name. I had to buy a $30 book. And I was like, God damn it. 70 for the week, I can make it. So and this was a few years ago, and I ended up waiting in line. I got to the front, And I'll never forget this moment because this is when I'm like, okay, I got a chance. And it almost moved me to tears because Spade's like, hey, man, what's going on? What's your name? I'm like, I'm Dalyss. I'm like, I just got done with an open mic. I'm kind of struggling with comedy. And he looked at me and he gave me this look and he's like, really? You're trying to become a comedian? And I was like, yeah, dude, I really love it. I love everything about it. I love how people feel when they leave. I love about, certain things. And he looked at me, he's like, that's why you're going to be good.
That's awesome.
He's like, that's why you'll make it. And I was like shocked, and I didn't, because this is Joe Dirt. This is the GOAT of David Spade. And I remember just being dumbfounded. I didn't really say much to him because I was just kind of shocked. And
that's Richard Harris from Tommy Boy. Richard.
And I remember when he signed the book, he's like, he kind of looked at me, he's like, well, good luck, man. And I'm like, yeah, thank you, David. And I go now. I walked away, and I remember just thinking to myself, like, man, that was David Spade, and that was the coolest thing.
Awesome.
Just because of like the things that happened prior, the things that happened during, and just for him to take time and talk to me and just be very like human to me.
Yeah, it's personal too.
And I actually messaged him a few times on Instagram, and I was like, hey, where's the goods? Because he was at Coach House. Or he said somebody was at, because he's from Scottsdale.
Is he really?
Yeah, dude. He's from Scottsdale. He went to ASU for a while.
Dang.
So he was like at Coach House, and I messaged him, and he actually messaged back. So I'm hoping one day, my dream is to meet up with him and show him that, because we ended up taking a picture together.
Yeah, I saw that one.
And I'm going to show him that picture and be like, hey, man, thanks for everything.
That's so cool.
Who's your coolest?
Let's see. I haven't had quite the list that you have. Rented a car to John Force from NHRA, dude, good old drag racer.
Nice. Hey, John. Oh shit.
Yeah,
this car got how many gears? I like these cars, these Fords.
Dude, Patrick Peterson.
Ooh, the cornerback for the Cards.
For the Cardinals. Rented a car to him in Flagstaff. It was Christmas Day a few years ago, maybe like 2016, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Snowed a lot. And they had shut down the airport, but when you're Patrick Peterson,
you get what you want.
You get where you want to go. So he flew in private from Phoenix, which is hilarious, but that's Patrick Peterson for you.
Yeah.
And he comes up and we have a list full of reservations, and we see Patrick Peterson on there for like a luxury SUV, and we're like, could it be like the guy, dude? He comes walking up and he's like, hey, here to rent a car, and he's like, name's Patrick Peterson.
Yeah.
And our assistant manager that was there, and he was like such a dopey older dude. He's like, oh, are you like the football guy?
Yeah.
And he just smiles. He goes, yeah, I'm the football guy. And like me and one other guy that were working there, same age, and we're just like, oh crap, dude, this is fucking Patrick Peterson, dude, Mr.
Patrick
Lockdown.
P, dude.
So we just took a second to talk to him. He was with his wife and his young daughter. So
gotta respect it.
Made it quick, hey, very nice to meet you. Took a picture with him. He was awesome.
That's cool, man.
And then the other one would be Paul Bissonnette.
Paul Bissonnette.
Paul Bissonnette, dude. He's, yeah.
Hell yeah. What was that like?
It was a quick meet and greet across the street from work at the time at Cold Beers.
No shit. Do you remember Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers?
There you go, that one.
Yeah.
And it was for the Pink Whitney. I drink that shit all the time, but from New Amsterdam, and they had the fucking Stanley Cup there, which was awesome.
Damn.
So big Red Wings fan. They've actually won it a few times. It's cool to see your team win a championship.
Shout out Chiefs.
Piss off there, Dalyss. But no, he's in there, and the dude's a giant. Like you can't really tell, but he's like 6'4".
Yeah.
And he's got just this big old stash going on, and he's just grinning and walking around. Maybe he took something beforehand that made him smile a little bit more. But no, he comes up, and I was like, dude. Like, I don't know what to say because I listen to this Fit and Chicklets podcast.
Yeah, that's a great podcast.
Guy, and him, Ryan Whitney, in RA, and they're awesome. And I was just like kind of awestruck because I listen to their podcast every day.
Yeah,
and I was like, I can't believe he's right. Like he's right here. Like he lives in Scottsdale.
Is that weird when you have that experience?
Yeah.
It's like this because you see these people all the time. It's like there's no. He's right because that's like. And then my coolest athlete was Jerry Rice.
Oh damn,
dude! That's because really cool. I went for that classic basketball tournament run for my buddy. I ended up going to Vegas again, and Jerry Rice. And usually when athletes walk in, they walk like behind, like it's a storefront, right? Mm-hmm. It's an autograph memorabilia shop.
Oh yeah.
And they walk through the back. You don't see them. They sit there and then they wave people in. And I'm lucky enough, I know Jeff, so I get to go in first and talk to him before they even start and like tell them about the classic. So it's cool. But this time with Jerry, I had to wait in line. I had to be a peasant. I had to be like everybody else,
a normal citizen.
But I showed up 2 hours early just because I was in Vegas and I was bored and I wanted to. I drove up there this morning from Phoenix and was going to drive back, so I wanted to get in, get out. So I'm standing there in line, and I hear like kind of a crowd, because there's like 200 people in line, dude. This is Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
And I kind of hear like a bunch of people murmur like, oh, and I turn around and here's Jerry Rice going down the line. 200 people shaking a hand. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Good to see you.
Damn.
And he gets to me. Thanks for coming, man. Good to see you. We'll see you inside. I was wearing a fat as fuck Super Bowl ring. Just comes inside. Jeff's like, all right, he's in. Come Dalyss. So I bring a T-shirt for him from the basketball tournament. And I gave it to Jerry, and I go, hey, Jerry, this is a tournament, blah, blah, blah. To give him my whole spiel. And he looks at me, he's like, well, what happened to your buddy? And that was the first time that a person had ever asked me that was famous what happened and stuff. Like, but he had this like crazy disease called small arteries syndrome, and he just kind of, it was a freak accident anyways. And he took the shirt and he's like, this means a lot to me because nobody gives me shit. They just want shit from me.
Okay.
And I was like, damn.
Autographs
Jerry.
that they're going to go and resell anyways. Like, they don't appreciate it.
And he thought it was so cool that and I mean, and I didn't think anything of it, dude. I was just giving him a shirt. This guy's won Super Bowls. This guy's I think he's the greatest all-time football player ever. Top 5 for sure. And he's like, thank you for giving me this. And I was like, it's a shirt that cost $5.
Yeah.
But it meant more sentimental to him.
That's awesome.
So it's like weird how we visualize these people to be like up there on the pedestal,
Dude,
way bigger than us.
I feel like I don't live in the same world as them.
100%,
you know?
dude.
Like we're not even in the same universe.
No.
If I ran into Steve Eiserman or Nick Lidstrom or the athletes that like I was growing up.
Yeah. Who's someone you die to meet? You'd be like, all right,
I'd say non-athlete, Nas.
Anybody really?
Nas. He's my favorite rapper of all time. Wu-Tang's a close second. Anybody in Wu-Tang as well.
See, none of this shit matters that I'm saying until I meet that guy, Posty.
Okay.
Post Malone to me is like...
You missed him at the Rusty Spur a couple weeks ago, huh?
Dude.
My buddy's really good friends with him, dude.
What?
Yeah, my buddy Chase Huglin, or not Huglin, Chase, I forget his last name. He's in
Does he like hand jobs?
I don't know.
Yeah. Is he, what you...
Yeah, Chase is in a metal band that's...
Cucumber melon lotion. Let me tell you about it. Right?
Is that what Posty likes, though?
Maybe.
Dude, he's in a band.
Dude, Nikki, why is this coming up right now? Is he going to the show on March 15th?
I don't know. I haven't seen him in so long. He's in this metal band called Gatecreeper, and they're homies. Like, I saw, like, every time Post is in town, or my buddy Chase is, wherever Post is, they always post pictures together and stuff. And it's so weird because he, like, I saw Post Malone, like, a month or two ago.
At Gila.
Up in, like, a suite at, like,
River.
Gila River. And it's just so, like, crazy. You're so far away and just doesn't really feel... like you're there, and then but then you see a picture of your buddy hanging out with him just like at a party, and it's just weird. But while I have the mic, really quick, something I want to touch on that Josh said, like when you meet people, how sometimes it can feel really weird, especially when you listen to their show, like Biz Nasty and all those guys, because I think a big part about podcasting is you make relationships with these people, even though it's very one-sided. Like, I feel like I'm best friends with these dudes, Chris Graham and Brian Hood, because I listen to their show every Wednesday, but I've never met them and they would never know who I am. It's just weird how, like, with podcasting, you can listen for 2 years and feel like you literally talk to somebody every single day, and then you meet them, you're like, oh, what's up, Paul? And they're like, who are you? Because it's just so weird that, podcasting has allowed us to do this. So I think meeting people from podcast world is different than like meeting celebrities, because when you meet celebrities, it's not as if you spent hours on end with them in your ears, not watching them on screen, like just talking to them. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but I always thought that was interesting.
Well, that's a Joe Rogan experience. Like, I feel like Joe Rogan's my best friend, because like he's taught me so much of my life, like what you're saying, Nick, and I totally get that, dude. That's 100% right. And I mean, it's just like where you get this feeling when you hear their voice and they hear their philosophy, you hear the way they look at life. It's like, okay, I might adapt some of that shit. And I think that's what brings it close. It goes back to Kobe, the Mamba mentality. Work hard every day, keep doing your thing.
Yeah.
And that's why you get drawn into these celebrities and that's what also makes them good, because they're personable.
Absolutely.
They make, because you're not going to be drawn to some guy that's going to be like, nah, I don't give a shit. I'm trying. I don't know why I gave that voice, but
right. Just like they're about their business and
they're about their own shit, and they want to do their own thing. And the reason I really like Posty is because
dude, he's nice to everybody.
Dude, he's so sick. I'm just worried
about Jimmy Fallon, sir.
I'm just worried. Nick, can we get one more? Now, we've been going at this for a while, so every guest I ask on swim lessons here is something to leave us with, something that you kind of use daily that you think is a good philosophy to your life, and something that if you had to tell someone in need or something to get them through the tough times, what would you say to them?
I think, like, just find a way to get your why. And that's funny. It's something that one of the directors at Indeed brought up to us was like, what is your why? Yeah. Why do you do what you do? Is it your family? Is it your faith? Is it your friends? Is it your motivation to be successful or whatever it is? Like, find your why.
Yeah.
And why you do it every day. And I think I was able to figure mine out pretty quick, through the good and bad times and my friends that I've been blessed with. And I understand, like, why I'm doing this. Why am I going to work every day? Why am I punching a clock? Why am I, the bottom level itself? Why was I a bouncer? Why was I shoveling snow on an AU's campus for 2 years? Like, why did I do all of this? It's like, okay, because my goal is to, have my own house with my girlfriend that I want to make my wife someday, and, have a couple of, fat Rottweilers and everything like that. So, like, and like, okay, so that's a long ways away. So, like, what do I need to do every day to get there?
Right.
Like, bring it. Like, don't go into the world half-assed and then get mad when you're like, damn, it didn't go my way. It's like, well, yeah, because you didn't try.
Right.
And I think that's one thing I've looked back at through some of my time at Indeed. It's like, oh, I could have done better. And, maybe that happens more often than not for some people, or other people are like, I always give it my all. But, like, bring that with your why and why you want to succeed and whatever success is to you, whether it's, my dad said you can do what you love and not care about what you get paid, or you can get paid quite a bit and do something that's not so fun. But like, every job comes with bullshit. Every job is going to be difficult. Life is going to be difficult. There's going to be good times and bad times no matter what. But, like, just stay steadfast, and here's why I'm doing this.
Right.
And all that other stuff, all the little things, don't sweat the small stuff is a big one. And all those little things won't matter. Because it's like, okay, here's another day chipped away at the big goal, at the house, or the family, or the car you want to drive, or whatever it is, the watch, or the Yeezys, or whatever, whatever you place your
goals.
value in, no matter what it is.
That's beautiful, dude. And now something that we do, another thing, is we have this thing called 10 for 10.
Okay. You're at 10 out of 10.
Thank you, sir. So 10 for 10 is, I'm going to ask you 10 questions, and you have to answer them as quickly as possible. Okay, Theo?
Okay.
And away we go. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Favorite actor or actress?
Chris Farley.
Breakfast or lunch?
Breakfast.
Steak or shrimp?
Steak.
Favorite TV show?
I'm going to say Chappelle Show.
Favorite NFL football team?
Detroit Lions.
Can you spell out the city in Texas that is named Dalyss for me?
Dalyss.
That's good, brother. What city in Texas? Anyways, next. What city in Texas rhymes with palace?
Dallas.
Who is your favorite person?
Dallas.
Yeah, baby. Theo, it's always so fun to hang out with you, brother.
This is awesome.
I love you, dude.
I'm
excited for your future. I'm excited to see you grow as a human, and just all the great things that are going to come to your fruition. And thanks for coming in today, brother.
Same to you, man.
I told you it's gonna be a party.